Folks, let me tell you about an interesting pricing trend that we've been seeing, and then I'll get into the latest home prices and insights for the Peel and Durham region for week ending June 28th, 2023. So let's talk about some of the different markets, and then I'll explain this market trend that we're seeing now. When the market is extremely hot, you'll see properties being listed lower than market, so lower than what the previous properties in that neighborhood sell for. They get listed low, and there's an offer date. And anybody seeing this kind of expects that the property is going to sell with multiple offers higher than what it's listed at. And in a hot market, this happens almost every time. Listed, it's sold with multiple offers at a much, much higher price. In a hot market, done, finished, that's the end. That property is sold. As the market starts to turn and soften, what we see is a bunch of properties being still listed the same way, but they don't actually sell on offer night. And we'll see more and more of these not selling. So they get listed low, it's offer night, maybe they get an offer or two, sometimes no offers, and they don't sell. And then they get relisted at a higher price, which is, you kind of assume that's where the seller wanted to be to begin with. So that's the other trend. But this is not the trend I'm talking about. The trend that we're seeing now is that they start off at the higher traditional price. They start off at a price where this is what the seller wants. There's no offer date. You do have the ability to negotiate down. And we're seeing these properties sitting there for a while. They're not all selling right away. And after a bit of time, 1 month or 2 months, the sellers have some pressure that they have to sell. Now the property gets relisted at a below market price with an offer date, and then it sells. Because now they've come way down, and on offer night, they absolutely have to sell. So it's kind of the reverse of the very first trend. In a hot market, listed low, it's sold. In a turning market, listed low, oh, it doesn't sell, listed high. So now they're starting high and then doing the offer date because they absolutely need to sell. They've run out of time selling it the traditional way. That's what we're seeing more and more of now. Properties starting high and then getting relisted. Look, folks, who you hire matters. Who you're working with as a realtor to guide you through the selling process really needs to understand what pricing strategies are working, which pricing strategies make sense depending on your own set of circumstances as a seller. Who you hire matters. The more you play around with, let's price it this way, let's do it that way, the more you change things, the more of a stigma it is on your property. And days on market is not your friend. You don't want to say, oh, no problem, I'll just change the price later. The more you do that, the more you devalue what a buyer's prepared to pay. And let's not be naive out there that think that buyers or their agents don't know how long the property's been on the market. You could cancel and relist and show up 1 day, 2 days on the market. But if it was on the market for 90 days before that, everybody knows. At the very least, you should assume that everybody knows. So you can't really hide that these days as technology. Everybody knows everything these days. So who you hire that understands pricing strategy, understands what's working now, not what worked in the market 4 weeks ago or 4 weeks before that, but right now, because things change quite quickly and they're different in different neighborhoods. Hire the person that's going to use the right strategy or can advise you properly as to which strategy makes sense for you in your neighborhood. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Let's get into the numbers. If you're in the market for an awesome multifamily home, check out the video at the end of this video. Sellers, pricing is not headed in your favor. The market's not looking good if you're a seller right now. Let me show you what I mean. Here's a quick summary of Durham, Brampton, and Mississauga detached properties. Now, as far as average prices go, it's difficult to spot some trends, and some trends are really apparent. For example, I have Mississauga here broken down by week for a whole year. We're talking only about detached properties. It's clear. Sales on a weekly basis has been trending down for maybe 2 months now, 2.5 months. Average sold prices, if we go back, we could see that since the beginning of the year, average sold prices have aggressively trended up. But the last 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, we have really high or really low prices. So if you average that out, it's going to be kind of flat. Right now, 1,489,000 is 7% lower than where the average sold price was a year ago. The median price is 1% lower. And we can see here, I'm looking at the 4-week moving average. Well, once we have the high prices and the low prices, the 4-week moving average kind of flattens it out, and it gives the impression, oh, price is kind of flat. I don't know if it really is flat though, because what we're experiencing in the field, we've seen some major price drops. We've seen some major price depreciation in a lot of these areas. And when you look at the chart, it kind of gives a different impression. So you really got to be careful of how numbers are interpreted. The 4-week moving average makes it easier, much easier to spot a trend than just looking at the weekly numbers. But it still averages out the highs and the lows. Overall, in the field, we're seeing prices trending downwards overall. Of the 44 that sold, 56% sold at list price or more, so a little bit more than half. That number was coming down, but for this last week of June 28th, it went up a bit. But here's where we really see the effects of why prices are kind of trending down. Well, 106 were listed, which is much lower than the previous week. Now, the drop in listings could easily be explained by, well, a few days after this week ending is the long weekend. And I know many sellers and many agents will say, well, you know what, we're heading into the long weekend. Let's hold off and list after the long weekend. So that could be explanation as to why listings are down. We'll see what happens next week as far as listing goes. But active listings for months now has been trending up. There's more and more properties sitting in the market, and if buyers have more choices, that only has one effect on price, and that's that prices do come down. Look at months of inventory. Since the middle of May, which was our low point of 0.8 months of inventory, we are now sitting at 2 months of inventory. It's more than doubled since the middle of May to June 28th. And if months of inventory continues to grow, it's just a matter of time that we're going to see the actual effect on prices, and that's that prices are coming down. Here's Brampton, very similar to Mississauga. Sales have been trending down. 66 detached properties were sold. 4 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price, although this week it's up at $1,340,000, we have a bunch of high average sold prices and a bunch of low, very low average sold prices. Compared to last year, 1,340 is 15% higher than last year's average sold price. The median price is 8% higher. And when we look at the 4-week moving average, looks like both average and median price are trending downwards. 66 were sold, 47% sold at list price or more. That percentage, excuse me, has been trending down. Look at months of inventory. Look at active listings, shooting way up. 250, more than double now. We're sitting at 573, and that's from May. So we got all of May, all of June basically, In 2 months, it's more than doubled the amount of properties sitting out there for buyers to choose from. Months of inventory, same idea. Since the middle of April, we were at 0.6. Today, June 28th, we're sitting at 2 months of inventory. That's a huge difference. That's more than triple where we were since the middle of April. And as months of inventory go up, active listings, more choices, prices can only go one way in that scenario, assuming the scenario continues. Here's Pickering. 62 detached properties were sold. So Pickering, something different is happening. Sales were coming down, but last week they shot up. The amount of properties selling at list price or more, 5. We've not seen 5 in over a year. 5 properties selling in 1 week at $2 million or more. Of course, that's going to have a profound effect on average sold price. It shot way up. So the reality is, average sold price for months has been aggressively increasing. It dropped for a couple weeks and now it's way up there. I wouldn't take the new average sold price as the new level. It's just this week, that's what happened. Compared to last year, we're 19% higher than where we were the same week last year. Median price is 11% higher. So before this week, average sold price was starting to flatten out and maybe trend down a little bit. Of the 62 that sold, 2/3, 66% sold at list price or more, which is way down for where we've been the previous few weeks. And yet, even with all this going on in the Durham region, and for Durham, I should say, I'm using Pickering, Ajax, and Whitby as my Durham sample. Active listings is aggressively increasing, and months of inventory, even though we're low still at 1.1, it's important to note that for the beginning of May, so all of May and all of June, just 2 months, we're at 0.4, we're now at 1.1. That's almost triple where months of inventory has grown in just the span of 2 months. And like I've been saying, as months of inventory grows and the amount of active listings continues to grow, we can see the market slowing down. We could see prices starting to trend down. Here's condos. Now this is for all of Peel region. 40 condos were sold. One of those was sold at $1 million or more. Average sold price up from the previous week to $651,000. $651 is 1% higher than where we were a year ago. So we're basically at the same price as where we were last year at this time. Median price is at the same price with 0% change. Average sold price and median price, they're up and down, but I would say kind of flat over the last couple of months. Of the 40 that sold, 43% sold at list price or more. And active listings, like the detached market, active listings is increasing. Months of inventory was increasing slightly, but over the last 3 weeks, increasing more aggressively. We're now sitting at 2.6 months of inventory. Condo market is getting really, really close to being in a balanced market category. Here's a summary of all three. With Mississauga and Brampton at 2 months of inventory, condos at 2.6, those are getting really close to 3 months of inventory, and we say that between 3 months and 5 months is a balanced market. They're getting pretty close. Things are changing out there. For the longest time, we've been saying, even with interest rates going up for a big part of this year, we've been in a seller's market, sometimes an aggressive seller's market. That is changing. Could be the interest rate. It could most definitely be seasonal, because we see this kind of trend July and August almost every year. It gets quieter, softer. There's a lot going on out there. Depending on what you want to do, sell, buy, it's really important you're getting the right information and you're working with somebody that can help you navigate, because the market is changing quickly and it's different in different neighborhoods. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Welcome to 4027 Bloor Street West in Etobicoke. Before I show you the inside of this home, let me tell you what makes it so unique. It has, in all, 8 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms. It has 9-foot and 10-foot ceilings. Each room has its own individual climate control. These are all luxury features you would expect from a custom-built home. But what really stands out in this home is that it was designed from the very beginning for 2 families to live separate and independent of each other, both above grade. Let me start by showing you the principal residence. So this is the principal residence. Including the finished basement, you have 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, about 3,000 square feet. So here's the finished basement. It has 10-foot ceilings, an entertainment area, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a private walk-up to the backyard. So this is the private, self-contained, luxurious secondary suite with 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Have a look.